Thanks for staying with us. So our celebrity guest today is a multi-award-winning songwriter, producer, artist, gospel artist, Mr. Wale Adenuga in the building. We like to refer you as a veteran. You're one of those that have trained many people have looked up to you growing up. You're somebody that helped so many people in this industry. And you're one of the major foundations of the gospel music industry. Thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you so much.
So how has it been? I mean, I know gospel music industry have evolved. There are a lot of things happening. You are one of those that try to make it a proper structure into this industry, because then it was just haphazard, everyone was just doing anything. And you're trying to really formalize it, make it profitable for those who are in the industry. You know, let's create some kind of a proper formality in this. How has that been so far? How would you review what the gospel music industry have become as of today?
I think first of all, good morning, everybody. I watch this show.
Thank you.
I feel like calling every morning. I say, first time caller. So, so you guys can clap, but now for the show, so that's even bigger. You know, growing up in a generation such as mine, if you told your parents that you wanted to do music, it's like, I mean, you must be out of your mind.
Yeah.
So, but then, you know, you brave it, and then you're doing it. Of course, I'm not even doing that full time because I do business and all of that. But then there's so much talent right now, and there's definitely a need for structure. So people move from just singing in church, and now we now ask ourselves, okay, how can we put a structure around this in terms of, there's still a huge problem. For instance, you hear so many songs and you don't even know who wrote the song.
Yes.
I mean, even some of my songs, some people don't even know that I wrote it. Oh, somebody said today. I mean, we had a case in court a couple of years ago, and in fact the lawyers were saying, oh, this is a song that's been in existence since time immemorial.
Oh yes, it's meanwhile.
Yeah. So I mean,
is that your song?
Yes.
Wow. I knew that.
Okay,
Yeah,
so let me give you that one. So what about you alone are worthy?
It's your song.
Yeah.
It's not
I would have done that.
A lot of
We started Christianity with that song.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you find out that those kind of structures are now coming into place. At least let's even know who wrote the song. You know, royalties. You know, I mean, radio stations play your song. Instead of them paying you, you pay them.
Yeah.
You know, so, but then you just have to be as fastidious and as determined as possible, you know, to just stay in there. Yeah, that's what I'd say.
So one of the problems we have in that industry is, you know, making it into a business like the other types of music, which we like to call secular. I mean, music is music anyway.
Right.
But is there anything that a gospel artist or singers can begin to do to make it into proper music? So when they go to churches and they present, they don't just receive, God bless you, sister, God keep you, God keep your home, you will really bless our lives, and then you go. Are there certain things that they can begin to do so that when they are booked, they are really treated? Because some of these churches book you, and when they book the secular artists, the treatments are different. Yeah.
Well, you see, it's a tough slope to climb because culturally, you have to understand the culture of the church. So to a large extent, you find that some people, right now, if we talk about money, some pastors are not even going to touch you. So one of the things I tell young people, and this is what I'll tell young people, you see, there are very few churches with which you can strike a contract with. A lot of churches are still small. And I say to young artists that, look, if you play the money game, because you're responsible, you have a call from God. You're indirectly saying to God that if it's only the churches that can pay me, I'm going to. You're indirectly saying to God that I'm not ready to sing to the majority of God's people. So what I say to young people is this: maintain a relationship. Work with a small church. A small church is not going to be small forever. Okay? Because if I go to a small church and say, oh, pay me 300,000, they probably don't have it.
Yeah.
They probably don't have it. So does that mean that I won't sing there? But if I sing there today, okay, they give me 100,000, who knows what they're going to be in 10 years' time? And then you would have reading with them. I'll tell you a true story. One of the guys who is A-list today, A-list gospel artist, a church sat down and they were thinking, okay, let's, who do we invite for a concert? And his name was mentioned many years ago, right? And then somebody said, oh, who knows him? Now today, they're trying to get an A-list artist.
we
He doesn't even have the time. But see, if they had plugged him in then,
You can call him anytime.
You know, with the gospel artists abroad, and recently one of ours, there's some of them that their songs and they have become huge international personalities. For those abroad, I'm not sure how they do it, but for the one that we know very well here from Nigeria, a lot of people talk about her relationship with her church, and they say the church sort of helped to boost her.
yes.
So is this the sort of relationship then you're asking artists to have with churches so that they may be boosted? And the reason I ask this is because when it comes to gospel and Christianity, we always think it's spiritual. God should boost you. Holy Spirit should boost you.
Yeah.
And then now you're asking spiritual people to be strategic. Doesn't that take away from their spiritual gift?
So let me use myself as an example. I remember a particular church invited me maybe like 10 years ago for a benefit concert, and it was supposed to be like a contractual thing. Okay, so how much would you charge? And I said to myself, look, I organize benefit concerts. I know how much it takes to organize an event. So I said to the pastor, you know what? No, I won't take anything, right? And I actually told my guys, I mean, the musician, I said, look, we won't do this because we're doing this. Now, today, let me tell you, if I talk to that pastor and say, look, I'm doing this.
It comes. Full support.
In full support. That is what relationship is all about. You see, relationship is more important than temporary gains. And that's one of the things that a lot of the younger people have to understand. Sometimes you'll be taken for granted, undoubtedly, but they will even up.
But how do you expect them to survive? For instance, there are some people that tell you God has called them into music, and that is all they are meant to do. So they are not doing other jobs.
Let me. I have a warning for young people.
Give us.
All that stuff about this is what God has. My friend, go and find something else to do.
Okay.
Yeah, I always tell people, what else can you do? In fact, this music is supposed to be a leverage for you. Because, so I do this music. Now, I mean, I organize mentoring events that Mariah has been at. Do you understand? How did Mariah know me? He knew me more for my music, but I'm not using that music as a leverage to do other things. So, and that's the space that a lot of young people must. So all this stuff about God just called me. Well, I mean, I'm not disputing that, but I work with God for a bit too.
You go hungry.
Yeah, you go hungry.
Right. Go ahead.
But what of the people who believe that that's their calling and they're not ready to
Do anything else?
do anything else? My brother, for instance,
Yes.
when he started music, nobody wanted to listen to him.
Yes.
He was just, and he had his father who was larger than life.
Yes.
But he said that was what he wanted to do, that was what he knew, that is what he trained as, and he continued.
Yes.
Today, that is what he eats from. So I think that telling them that you need to...
Yeah, but secular is different from
It's
gospel.
different from gospel.
No, even
that's true.
Yeah,
so Auntie, let me see. Even let's look at secular. You see, you have to look at let's take Uncle Femi, for instance. His exposure, even Fela, right? Their exposure. You see, you can be doing music and be so close-minded. But these guys, so out of Africa, or let's say out of Nigeria, who's the biggest brand in terms of music? Without, I mean, it's Fela. Do you understand? There was a global perception to his music. But a whole lot of our guys are still close-minded and they're just doing stuff,
They're still in one hub.
Yeah, they're still in one hub.
Yeah.
So you have to really be open-minded about this thing.
Talking about open-mindedness, Adenuga, one of my major concerns is it's like people don't spend time to write songs. You just take maybe one sentence and repeat it and the beat, and you don't see. So you see some, you hear some music from you, Sinach, where you feel like somebody actually read the Bible and they actually got to Rema and they're actually singing. So somebody actually, because these songs go viral. I mean, and some will just sing and just like be and people will be dancing. Those are ones who make a lot of noise.
Yeah.
But is there a gap? Is there a problem? The fact that people are not writing songs anymore.
People are writing songs that trend. Let me give you an example. And this is many years ago. Somebody said that all these deep songs they're writing. People in the bus, they want to be just nodding their head.
Yeah.
So, again, the truth of the matter is that for us, I think it's an educational thing. Let's go back to the way we're educated in Nigeria. We're not educated to understand. We cram to pass.
Yes.
We cram to pass. And that's going to affect even the way, you know, we
do other things.
We do other things. It's going to affect the way we write. So a lot of times people write, you know, to what's the latest trending music beat. And then we write to fit that. But that is just a trend. And like I always say, trends will always end.
So is it the problem of the songwriter or is it the problem of the listener? Because many people would say you would sell a market. If you are writing deep scripts, deep lyrics.
Right. No, both of them will feed off each other. So you that you're writing songs that are really deep, you'll probably be there a longer period than somebody that is just writing to trends. So
and you may not make it on time.
You may be a flash in the pan as quickly as possible, but you will be there. You see, you have to understand, there's a difference between trending and being relevant. You can be relevant there for a long time. An example I gave is, let's take someone like Steve Wonder. He may not be on top of the charts. A lot of people do music because they want to be on top of the charts. But if Steve Wonder goes to Nigeria and says, I want to do a show in O2 in 2025, I can bet you it's going to be sold out.
That's very good.
Meanwhile, he's not on top of the charts.
All right, let me go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk about the Green Worship Concert. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Glorify your name in a way that you alone will take all the glory. Oh Lord, glorify your name in a way that you alone will take all the glory. Everyone singing, glorify your name. Oh yes, in a way that you alone will take all the glory. Lord, we're calling on you now. We're calling on you now. That you alone take all the glory. We call your name. Jesus. We call on you now. Jesus. Oh my Lord Jesus. Oh, glorify your name in a way that you alone will take all the glory.
Wow. That is very, very, very powerful.
Thank you.
You know, I really wanted to ask you about green worship, but you see, when I heard the song, it just spoke to me like, you know, you've been serving God for so long, for so many years. Have you ever, I don't want to say has God let you down, but have you just felt that sometimes it's just not clicking or something happens and you're thinking, why? Like as a Christian, it's not like why is this happening? Why should this happening to this? Because I have served this God so much. Why should this happen to me? Has that ever happened to you?
I mean, most definitely. Till tomorrow. I think the safety net is you have to come to a point in your life where you have this irreversible decision that, look, there is God. I believe in God. So no matter what happens, right? No matter what happens, rainfall, sunshine, I'm still going to go back to God. So, yeah.
So I need to ask you, because, sorry, Jerry.
It's fine.
So that song, today, you know me, I'm not one of you people, but I know because I have been to church.
Yes.
You have?
And so that song is very popular.
Yes.
There is no...
Sing it for me.
Today, oh, I will lift up my heart in praise.
So you know the song.
Yeah, let us finish now. Let us finish.
No matter what they say. No matter what they do.
I will praise.
So that song is really, really, really... There is no church good that they don't sing it.
Yeah. So should I tell you the story behind the song?
Yes, please.
Give it to us.
So now, first of all, the words of the songs have been changed. It says, today, oh, I lift up my voice in praise, for I know that you are always there for me. Almighty God, you're my all in all, no matter what I face. When troubles come my way, I will praise you.
That's the one.
Now, your husband and I grew up on campus.
Yes.
Of course, much you know to me. Our house got burnt on campus, University of Ife. So I was a second-year student then in university. My parents worked on campus. I went for my lectures in the morning, 7 o'clock, came back at 9 o'clock, and our house was completely burnt down. Lost everything. The only thing we had left, that we had left was what we were wearing and the cars my parents drove to work. So at that point in time, no one was a Christian. I mean, we were into jazz. You know what I mean? Anyway, so a year after I got born again, and really this song is just a vow, saying to God that, look, no matter what I face, I will praise you, Lord.
That also answers your question.
So did you get money for that song?
Did I get money for that?
Oh, did you get money? Because they are singing it everywhere.
Realities.
So again, that's what I'm saying. You know, that song was written in a time where, I mean, if that song was written today and it is as notorious as it is most definitely. But I can't say that I haven't been remunerated for it because you get invited on account of that song. That's probably the song that I'm most known for. So
there are so many of them. Forget that one.
Let me hear.
There's something
when it comes to mind,
you alone are worthy, Lord.
That's worship. You realize to Christ, you start singing in church. Those are the songs you start with. But there's something like when I listen to your song, I felt a certain way. And I realized that songs that last in gospel are very simple. Not complicated songs, simple, that touches the core of worship.
Right.
So, for instance, when I got into the gospel industry, I wanted to rap, not sing this simple. And I had the issues where churches were not even understanding. What is this one? What is this one saying? And all that, bouncing up and down. I'm learning. You know, and so it became like, this industry, are you sure I'm in the right industry? Not because I wasn't connected to God, but because I felt the sort of music I really wanted to do may not really fly in this sort of industry. And I was just telling you now that if I had met you, probably you may have told me, why don't you just sing simple, just sing it simple. Does it mean that for you to thrive in the gospel industry, it has to be worship?
No. I think everybody needs to understand his personality. So let's take someone like Kirk Franklin. You probably know who Kirk Franklin is. Let's take someone like Don Moen. They're two different personalities.
Yes.
I mean, you can imagine Kirk Franklin trying to be like Don Moen. I mean, everybody's going to be like, hello. Did you sleep well tonight? So,
so let's talk about the green worship. Because time is almost up.
Green worship, we'll talk about it 1 minute.
Yes.
But this one, what do you think of very religious people who don't have integrity? Like the person we're talking about before the show.
The person very religious.
He's religious.
Very religious. I think he might even be a pastor of us.
Okay, that's true. He quotes Bible though. He always talks about God.
So, because they will quote the Bible and they don't have integrity. What do you say about people like that?
What do I say about people like that? I think that's why you have all this uproar anyway. Because if you have integrity, you wouldn't have this uproar. you know, you wouldn't have this opera. If you're a man of your word, everybody would know that you're a man of your word. You know, so that's what I'm saying.
Tell us about green worship. What's green worship about? And so that we...
Yeah, so green worship is a benefit concert that helps to raise awareness and support for charities that care for orphans, children with special needs, and vulnerable children.
Wow.
And we've been doing that since 2006 under the name of Worship for Change. So green worship is an initiative of Worship for Change. And we've raised about 60 million naira. You know, yeah. So we just, once we did, like last year, we raised 7.5 million naira. And we actually targeted 6 charities, like Leprosy Mission, and a couple of...
And you give them the money?
Yeah, we give them the money. And the amazing thing is, you know, so let's take a charity like Leprosy Mission. They got 1.25 million naira last year. And I was amazed at what 1.25 million naira could do. They actually took 200 kids in a school in Yangoji, near Abuja. They got school uniforms, they got shoes, they got books, and they got a backpack. Well, I mean, look, without 1.25 million naira does not even pay my daughter's school fees. So, I mean, and that's what people fritter away on a weekend. You know, so...
the fritter away 1.25?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I mean, people
what?
Clubs.
1 million.
1.25
You need to review the price at Shrine. You can review your price at Shrine. Yes, it's too cheap.
The price of our beer.
Yeah, you need
No, people spray bills of 1 million now.
Yes, sir.
So what is the aim for green worship this year? What's the target?
Right, so we have 4 charities we are working with this year. The Farid Center in Mina. Leprosy Mission again. Irede Foundation, they provide prosthetics.
Oh, Irede,
yeah.
we know Irede.
Yeah.
Irede has been here several times.
Crystal Chibu, yeah. And what's the 4th one? I'm trying to remember the 4 charities. So we want to raise 100 million this year.
Wow.
That is our target. And it's showing on DSTV, it's showing on all our social media handles, on YouTube, on Facebook, and Instagram, at Green Worship, so you can actually follow right now. And so we have great artists, Matt Redman, who wrote 10,000 Reasons, I'm Coming Back to the Heart of Worship, Nathan Abasi, Folabi Noel, Laulu Benjo, lots of artists on this. So we would worship, but our aim is that, look, worship is not just something that should go vertically, it should also affect us horizontally. So as we watch, we would also share stories of all of these people, and we expect that people will join in and help us make a difference in lives.
I've been to one of your concerts before, and I think you were very selective of the kind of people that were on stage. I didn't see all the... I really worshipped. Like, the place was charged. And I felt that this one is different, though.
Presence of God is here.
How do you choose? I mean, is it intentional, or it just so happens that we are spiritual?
No, it's intentional. First of all, all the artists on this bill, you will not believe, are not charging a penny. Are not charging 1 kobo. So they're all doing it for free. So you first of all have to find those kind of people who can do that. And even the entire program is designed. Of course, there's fast-paced music and all of that. But like you said, I mean, it must be rich. The content must be godly and must inspire people to worship. Yeah. All
right, so we have to wrap up. So at Green Worship, right? And it's next week Friday?
Sorry?
When is it? Next week Friday?
No, Saturday. Tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Oh, sugar. Wow. I thought it was next week.
Tomorrow, 5 p.m.
5 p.m. tomorrow,
yeah,
so we can watch it live.
Yeah, watch
Fantastic.
it live.
Yes.
While watching, donations can come in.
Yeah, there'll be instructions on how to give.
Okay.
Thank you. It's a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you so much.
I know you want to have your last word on Fanyika Ode, because this thing is picking you. We have to wrap up.
No, I'm not saying, because I had to Google how the father, apparently he betrayed the Western, according to the Western religion.
You know what? I'll give you time to go and do a research on FFK. Come back next week and tell what you found out on FFK and the entire generation, and we'll discuss it. Let me go. We have to wrap up, but we're going to laugh with one of your songs, at least to start off the weekend. So that's all we can take on the show. Let's watch this.